You're the person who's in control. Like, you're the opposite of the frazzled, the distracted, all of those other people that are just, reacting and playing defense every day through life. Get that trash out of your life. You have legacies to build. We grew that business from 3.4 million to 17.1. Horsepower, not horse shit. You want to be the parent that's an ally. They don't need another friend. Not everybody's cup of whiskey. Toughest advice for the toughest businessmen: be relentless. I was driving my daughter Emery to school on Tuesday morning. It's about a 7-minute drive from our lake house, and one of the true gifts in my life is the time that we've had together. She's been in school since she was 2.5 years old. She's now 9 years old, so we've had 6.5 glorious years of driving to and from school. It's been an opportunity for me to connect with her every single day since she was a little child. It's only 10 minutes, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back. But it's made such a difference in my life in terms of my connection with her as a father, how open and honest we are with each other. And no matter how busy I am in business or as an entrepreneur or in sports, I always have that 10 or 20 minutes drive with her. And there's something about driving where it's like walking. It's almost like truth serum. She tells me what's bothering her. She tells me what she's happy about. She tells me what she's finding difficult. She talks to me about things that make her angry and frustrated, things that she has passionate obsession for. And we have a very, very close bond because of a number of things. T-I-M-E, time. How do you spell love? T-I-M-E. And one of the things that I've easily, seamlessly added to my life since she was 2.5 years old is driving her to and from school. I'm heading into town to the world headquarters every day anyway. It's been so easy to change and amend my schedule to fit driving her to school every single morning and picking her up every single day at 4:15. I've been doing it for 6.5 years, and it's been one of the true blessings in my badass life. We were driving yesterday, Tuesday morning, to school, and as we were pulling up to the school, she's in a private school with 19 other children, ages grade 1 to grade 4. Great, fantastic teachers, outdoor curriculum, outdoors all the time, zero technology, books, real life experiences, the opposite of what our children are achieving and being taught and indoctrinated in public schools. So we're very blessed to have such a school in our small town. I was driving Emery too, and we pull in the parking lot at 8:31, and school drop-off is 8:15 to 8:30 sharp in the morning. And as we're driving in the parking lot, Emery asked me from the back seat, she says, "Daddy, are we late?" I've been waiting for this opportunity for 2 weeks. Every day, she's responsible for getting up in the morning. She's responsible for her reading time. Krista and I have a rule in our home that everybody reads 10 pages of a book every day. I do, Krista does, and Emery has to read 10 pages when she gets up first thing in the morning. So she's a really early riser. She gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, a little bit after 5, and she comes downstairs. She likes her alone time like her father, and she literally sits down on the couch. She has her book from the day before out, and she sits down on the couch, and she'll move the pillows, and she'll sit down, and she'll read 10 to 12 to 15 pages of her favorite book. I don't care what she's reading, long as she's reading. She's starting the Harry Potter books now. She's reading Cesar Millan's dog training books, real books, 10 pages a day. That's the currency in the McLean household. If you want to If you want to come to me with a request to do something, a sleepover, a birthday party, drive you here, the currency in our home is not physical or digital money. It's, have you done your reading? Have you done your 10 pages of reading on Saturday morning, on Sunday morning, on Tuesday morning? So she's a voracious reader, and she has a insatiable appetite for learning, which we're very, very pleased and proud of. So we pull in the parking lot, and she asked me, are we late at 8:31? And I turned and I said, I parked the vehicle. I said, yes, we are late. And she was upset because she understands that in our badass world, 1 minute might as well be one day. If you're late, you're late. So I pulled in the truck and I put it in park, and I said, what message does being late send to your teachers and your friends? And she thought about it for a minute. She's trying to go through her brain because we've talked about this many times. She said, well, it shows that I'm undisciplined. And I said, what else? And she said, well, it means I don't care, or it shows that I don't care. I said, well, that's good enough for now. I said, who's responsible for you being on time here every single day? Somewhere between 8:15 and 8:30 a.m. Is it my job to have you here? She said, well, partly it is. But I said, whose responsibility is it for you to be on time at school? She said, well, it's my responsibility. I said, correct. I said, you get up at 5:30 in the morning, you do your reading for half an hour, and then you do some artwork, and you listen to some stories, and you get dressed, you have your chores, and you have lots of time. You literally have, 40 minutes to eat your breakfast, brush your teeth, and get out the door. I said, this is 2 weeks. This has been going on for 2 weeks, where your arrival time at school has slipped from 8:15 to 8:20 to 8:25 to 8:30, and now 8:31. And there was multiple days where we pulled in the lot at 8:31, 8:33, late. I never said anything. I was preparing to see if she could figure this out herself. So I said to her, when you're not on time, it sends the message that you're not trustworthy. And secondly, when you're not punctual, it says to other people that this is not important to you. Whatever it is, whether it's school, whether it's a meeting, whether it's church, whether it's meeting a friend for a drink, whether it's a lunch appointment, whether it's being on a web class, whether it's whatever it is, when you can't be on time, it says two things about you personally. It says you can't be trusted, and number two, it says that you don't really care. You haven't organized your day enough to eliminate excuses to be early. My assistant coach, my Barclay Cup championship team, Brian Greer, had a great saying that his late father pounded into his head as a child. And I've always loved the way Brian operates. He's always half an hour to 20 minutes early for any meeting. If I had a video session, he's 20 minutes early. If I'm meeting him for the bus, he's 30 minutes early. If he's coming, out to sit on the dock and talk hockey, the guy shows up 20 minutes early. He's punctual, he's trustworthy, and he shows that he cares. And his late father, Brian Greer Sr., pounded into his head as a young man, if you're not early, if you're not 10 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. If you're not 10 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. How many people in today's low standards world do you think believe in that saying, that cliche, that rule, that if you're not, say, 15 minutes early, then you're 15 minutes late? If you're not early, you're late. Just so you know, the average North American now is 20 minutes late for any appointment, any meeting, any seminar, any time. 20 minutes, more than that, but let's just round off the number. The average North American businessman is now on average 20 minutes late for any appointment. Lunch, webinar, meeting a friend, going to the ballpark, late for everything, 20 minutes. So if you believe in what I teach, which is life as a badass world builder, not a bootlicker like the 99% Joe Average, the ordinary, and the quiet desperation crowd, if you believe that the 99% are dead wrong about everything, dead wrong about marriage, dead wrong about money, dead wrong about health, dead wrong about nutrition, dead wrong about marriage, dead wrong about raising children, dead wrong about making money, dead wrong about investing money, dead wrong about everything. You name it. You name it. Dead ass wrong about everything. If you believe that to be a fact, which it is, almost dead wrong about everything, then you look at it and you say, okay, what is everybody around me doing now? What is everybody doing around? They've lowered their standards over the last 25 years to the point where it's acceptable for a business person, a mom, a dad, a husband, a wife, a child to be now 20 plus minutes late for any commitment time. Late. So if you want to be a badass top 1% world builder, what is the prescription? The prescription is you do the exact opposite. You look around and you see everybody 20 minutes late for everything. They can't be trusted, and it shows that they don't care, and you need to do the exact opposite. So what is the exact opposite of being 20 minutes tardy for everything in your life? Always running behind, always playing defense, always playing not to lose, stressed out, anxious, just always playing defense. Well, the exact opposite, the polar opposite, the badass world building prescription is for you to be 20 minutes early for everything. Every meeting, every phone call, every web class, every seminar, when you get up, when you go to bed, meeting a friend for a drink, meeting a friend for dinner, whatever it is, church, funeral, wherever you're going, that you're 20 minutes early. That's a 40-minute difference, by the way. That's the difference between winning and losing. That's the difference between chumps and champions, between contenders and pretenders. That's the difference between excuse makers and do-nothings and badass kings. So get in the habit today, make it a rule in your life that you're now 20 minutes early for anything. You have to be somewhere this afternoon, plan to be there 20 minutes early. Do what my dad did for 70 years in business. He would be 20 to 30 minutes early when he was visiting any client or customer, delivering a farm policy, delivering a commercial business policy, and he would literally prepare the night before with his files, and he would go and he'd be 30 minutes early, and he would sit in the parking lot of the business. If he had to be there at 8 a.m., he'd be there at 7:30 in the vehicle, mentally preparing for the 8 o'clock meeting. At 5 to 8, he would grab his file, suit and tie, and walk into the business exactly at 8 a.m. sharp. What does that say to that customer, that client? It says, number one, that my dad can be trusted. Number two, it says it's important. It says I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I'm a pro is what it says. And it's no coincidence that my dad, who looked after 134 large commercial platinum accounts every year out of 9,000 customers, he looked after 134. It's no coincidence that at the end of the year, he'd always sit back in his chair on New Year's Eve and say, 134-0, Michael, 134-0. That means he was undefeated that calendar year, that he renewed and upgraded 134 platinum accounts. I'm talking about people spending 50 grand, 100 grand, 550 grand a year on their commercial insurance. 134-0, son. 134-0. What's your record this year? Punctual, on time, half an hour early, shows that he can be trusted, shows that he cares. Now, I have personally lived by this rule. I actually only have a handful of rules. Most people would think that I have a lot of rules. I have a lot of habits. I have a lot of rituals, but I actually have very few rules in my life. And one of the rules that I learned in professional hockey when I was coaching, and then it was reinforced in high-level amateur hockey as a leader of young men, is my number one rule. And I addressed this the very first time we would always get together, 22 training camps, 22 times. This was the number one thing that came out of my mouth at training camp, first minute, first hour, first meeting of the year. Number one rule, be on time for everything. Period. Be on time for everything. No exceptions, no excuses. We didn't talk about hockey. We didn't talk about power plays. We didn't talk about penalty killing. We didn't talk about dress code. We didn't talk about, electronics. We talked about that later. The number one thing that I asked of every pro athlete, every amateur athlete, every employee that's ever worked for me, and people that reside in my badass world, always be on time. And they know McLean time means 15 minutes early. McLean time means 10 minutes early. If you're not 10 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. So this is the standard that I demand in my world. And I'll be quite candid. I have fired people in the insurance business, employees who couldn't be on time. I have fired hockey players who couldn't be on time. I have fired barbers that couldn't be on time. I have fired people in my world, friends, who could not be on time. I don't want anybody in my badass world who, number one, they can't be trusted, and number two, they don't care. Whatever they were doing was more important than being on time for what I'm doing. I fired pool people, looked after our pool. I fired people that cut our grass. I fired contractors. I fired vendors. I fired printers. I fired book publishers, all because they could not perform the number one rule: be on time for everything. There's a reason when I do my webinars, I always say it starts at 11:59 p.m. When I have my world building guys, my top 1% of 1%ers, my 8-week world building program back in the winter after Christmas, every one of our trainings would start on Tuesday and Thursday at 10:59 a.m. Not 11 a.m., 10:59 a.m., 1 minute early. It's just like there's 2 months left in the year now. There's November and December. There's 2 fresh months. So 99% of the tomato cans are, it's Thanksgiving and then it'll be Christmas. Basically, they're just fading into the year, right? I'm going to turn things around in the new year. Well, like fuck, you're going to turn anything around. You couldn't turn around anything because you're not going to have any momentum. So we have 2 beautiful months left in the season to be on time, to be on punctual, to get into good habits so that we hit January with momentum. Winners stack the deck in November and December. Champions stack the deck in November and December. These are separation months for us. Like, I'm going to work even harder and smarter in November. I'm going to work even harder and smarter in December. But if you're a person who's not punctual, there's not a better time to clean up that area of your life right now in the last 2 months of the year. So I use it as a test for everything. In my world, if I'm meeting somebody for a meeting or maybe we're going to grab a bite to eat, one of the secrets I have, I always make people meet me at my place. My place being the office or the mastermind house. And why do I have them meet me at my place, before we go? Because 99% of people are 20 minutes late. So if they do show up 20 minutes late, not only am I going to curate them out of my life very quickly, but I was able to work and be productive for those 20 or 30 minutes it took them to be on time. And it's amazing because I have punctuality as my number one rule with my athletes, with my mastermind members, with my clients, personally, with Emery, Krista. It's all about time and punctuality. What's really interesting is that you get people around you and you hold them accountable for exactly that. You start holding them accountable for being trustworthy and for caring. And it's a great test to get people out of your life who don't belong there anymore. If you're building a brand new badass world this coming year, then what a great way to get rid of people, number one, that can't be trusted, and number two, that really don't care enough to be on time. I've used it as a test in sports. I've used it as a test in business for years and years to curate, swift sword, and cut the rope with people that can't help me win, don't want me to win, and don't really care about the mission that we're on. So that's my story for today. It's interesting because when I drove Emery to school this morning, we were so early. We were there at 14 minutes after. We actually were the first people in the play yard at the school. Me and her got to talk some more. She was actually a little nervous. She said, "Are you sure we're not late?" And they went in the school. We beat the teachers there. We beat the assistants there. And we beat every other person there. And I said to her, you just need to get used to being first. And you should have seen the difference in stress this morning. You should have seen the difference in attitude because we knew we were early. And I said to her, I didn't remind her this morning. I reminded her on the way home yesterday. I said, listen, I'm going to be ready to go at 8 o'clock. I'm going to be in the truck at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. When you come out is your responsibility. I'm not going to hold her hand. And I sat out in the truck. I said my goodbyes to Krista. We did all our stuff, our connection stuff, family. And then I went out and I sat in the truck at 8 o'clock sharp. I took responsibility for doing my walk, doing my video, having my shake, all that kind of stuff. But then I sat in the truck and at 3 minutes after 8, the door opened, and guess who jumps in the back of the truck? My daughter, Emery, taking personal accountability for herself. I'm not going to hold her hand. She has to do it herself. And I said, you know what this shows, just to compound it, I said, you being in this truck at 3 minutes after 8 shows that you can be trusted, and it shows that you care about being at school on time. And it's all benefit for us because it reduces the stress and anxiety. You're early to the airport. You're early for a flight. You're early for a web class. You're early for lunch. You're the person who's in control. Like you're the opposite of the frazzled, the distracted, all of those other people that are just, reacting and playing defense every day through life. So we need to be talking to our kids about punctuality. We need to be enforcing it. We need to be setting the standard. If the king does not rise, the kingdom dies. So you know what? I can talk all I want, but if Michael McLean is not punctual, if Michael McLean is not on time, if Michael McLean is not, early, then all this is BS. It's all BS. And the same thing, I set the tone in our home. Krista does the same thing. We're early for everything. And this is the point about getting up early in the morning. I don't get up at 6, I get up at 5:57. And the reason I do that is I just say to myself when my eyes open, I got a 3-minute head start. And it really doesn't, amount to anything, but it does. It's a mental victory. And then I say my prayers and I splash some water on my face and I get my walking gear on and I'm like, another win. And then I go downstairs and I drink 2 glasses of water that I left out, another win. And then I put on my 25-pound rucking vest, another win. And then I open the door and I go out and I take my first 10 steps, another win. Then I set up my broken iPhone 7 and shoot a video, another win. And then by the end, I've got my 15,000 steps in and it feels like I've got 15 wins to start. But it all starts by being early. I get to bed on time, 10 o'clock sharp. I get up early at 5:57 a.m. and it's just punctuality. I'm telling the world, I'm telling the universe, I'm telling other people, I'm telling my creator, I'm telling myself that I can be trusted and that I care. And early. I insist on it with my little guys practicing, whether it's power skating, whether it's Sunday morning hockey, and it's tough at that age because you got some tomato can parents who can't be on time, but I still get the message across, be on time, be on time. And boy, oh boy, it's my number one thing with any of my championship teams, with any of my businesses, be on time. And we used to swift sword them out of there. People making $70,000 a year in the insurance agency. 3 strikes, 3 times they couldn't be on time. They were warned. Boom, off the planet they go. So that's the goal for today. Start being on time. Be 20 minutes early. Do the exact opposite of what you see around you. Speaking of doing the exact opposite, my new Badass World Building Mastermind, every second week we'll be doing a live training. And guess what? It won't be starting at 11 a.m. It'll be starting at 10:59 a.m. You'll be on there every second Wednesday for 2 hours with yours relentless. And I am going to work and help you transform your life, your business, your money, your marriage, your physical health, your mental health, and your impact in this world in the next 12 months. If you don't 2x every part of your life, you're not trying and you're not doing the work. And it's the association with 49 other elite men that's going to have the most impact on your life. It's the ultimate investment. I'm in 2 masterminds this year, and they're going to help me 10x, 20x, 25x my life and my business. Being around winners leads to more winning. Being around 7-figure earners leads to a 7-figure income. Being around people that read, people that pray, people that train leads you to reading, praying, and training. It's just the most powerful force on earth, association. And there's nothing more powerful than a mastermind. To apply, go to badassworldbuilders.com, badassworldbuilders.com. The link is below. 5 questions. Tell me about yourself. I'm fascinated. I'll read the application. You got to put down a $97 refundable. You get your money back. I just want to make sure you're serious. I don't want any pretenders. And then I'll look at it and I'll let you know within 7 days if you're in or out. Maybe I'm the coach for you. Maybe my coaching is too hard. Maybe my coaching is too candid. Maybe you're the great fit. Maybe you're not a great fit. It doesn't really matter. 2 out of 3 people don't qualify. So it's not a big deal. It's not for everybody. It's for kings. It's for cleaners. It's for rainmakers. It's for closers. And it's for men that want to, go from that 5-figure to 6-figure, finally to 7-figure, that $1 million per year mark. It's a game changer. When you get to that $1 million mark, your life changes in terms of peace of mind. You're heading towards a safe harbor position. That financial piano is lifted from your back. That financial piano is lifted from your mind. You sleep better, you feel better, you think better, you behave better, and it's just a complete transformation to building your own world. badassworldbuilders.com. Fill out the application. I'll get back to you in 7 days. Hey, is 2023, is it going to be more of the same, more of the quiet desperation, more of the struggle? Or are you finally going to build a life in a world you never ever have to escape from? A world you never need to vacation from, sedate, or medicate. A world that you get up every day, you put your feet on the floor, and you're just so passionate about living life and doing business on your own terms. badassworldbuilders.com. Remember to tell your children and your wife how much you love and appreciate them before the sun sets today. A king always, every single day reaches out to the people that matter the most to you and tell them how much you love them. Tell you you're thinking about them. Tell them the door is always open. Stick your nose in their business. Know what's going on in their lives. Who their friends are, who they're associating with, what they're reading, what they're looking at on their phone, what websites they're going to, who are their friends at school, who are their enemies at school, what people in their class are using drugs, if you have teenage kids, what friends are taking the wrong path, like what friends are experimenting with alcohol, what friends are experimenting with drugs, what are the drugs, how are they getting the alcohol, are they involved in sports, who's coaching them, who's their mentor, I'm constantly grilling Emery's piano teacher, her tennis teacher, her math teacher. I'm involved, and these teachers and mentors know that Krista and I are involved. We're watching, we're sending messages, we're questioning, we're asking, and we're sticking up, and we're protecting her. Anybody that's in my daughter's life is under the microscope. I'm watching all the time, and every coach, every teacher, every mentor, it knows that Krista and I are watching. We're watching. We know the friends. We know people, that she's associating with. We know what's going on in the classroom. We know what she's being taught. Yesterday, I was in the school there, and I had some questions after about some different things. I'm asking her constantly, what were you taught today? What were you taught today? What was the teacher taught you about? What were you taught in piano? What was your chess teacher talking about? Just constantly sticking my nose in her business. That's my job as the badass king of this family. That's it. 2 words that changed my life. 2 words that will change your life. Be relentless.